All right, good evening both to Mrs. Stewart's class and my classes. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing our first flip lesson in grammar for independent clauses, both identifying them and diagramming them. What Mrs. Stewart and I are going to do is each week on Thursday night, you're going to have a video in front of you that goes through and goes through some of maybe the lesson that we're going to do the next day. It is imperative for all classes to complete this and come in with it completed for full credit. We will not give credit for sheets that are not completed or not done on time. This is the only assignment both she and I will not give credit for. If you do not complete them, you have been warned. So what we are going to do today is we're going to review independent clauses. Next week, Mrs. Stewart gets to do the video, so my students get to hear a little bit from her. So you get two very different perspectives. All right, so let's go. Independent clause, you guys should know this, is made up of a subject, which is going to usually be a noun, and a predicate, which has to have a verb in it. So if you do not have a subject and a verb, not a sentence. I know some of you guys like to do the texty and have fragments in there, but if there's no subject or verb or one or the other, it's not a sentence. It can't stand alone. So just remember that. You got to switch a little bit from texting in summer to English in the fall, okay? So what we are going to do today, this is going to be brief. We're going to do two things. We are going to go ahead and label the sentences for the subject and the predicate, and then you're also going to diagram the basic structure. You will have an assignment that you need to turn in with this, so we will not do all of these. Again, this is really nice because you can work at your own pace. You can make sure that you really understand it. It's super, super nice for you guys. So feel free to pause if I'm going too quickly. My students know I talk very quickly. Click the pause button and go through and re-go through the lesson. That's okay. So for this first one, pinball machines, and we're going to cross out on the other hand because for now, prepositional phrases, which I know you guys also know because Mrs. Lichtenberg and Mr. Pollack and myself went over it last year, will pop back up, but for now we're not going to deal with that. So our subject is going to be the machine. Pinball is just modifying it. It's just an adjective. So they do not go together. And then our predicate is going to be, I'm going to double underline it, is going to be are essentially all the same. So if you guys can do that, you are in incredible shape. We have our verb right here, and that's how it signifies where the verb starts is where it signifies where the predicate is. All right, let's diagram this puppy because I know you can do that. I'm going to go ahead. Machines are going to be our subject. Our verb is are. I think you guys probably remember that are is a linking verb, which is really important because essentially all the same are adverb, adjective, adjective. Same is also an adjective, but it's describing the pinball machine, so it's going to be a predicate adjective. Again, all these words I know you learned from last year popping up. I want to see if you guys remember this, and I'm kind of challenging you a little bit. So let's go ahead and diagram it. Ooh, we always remember, make the line between the subject and the verb longer because it shows the difference between the subject and the predicate. All right, so you're going to go ahead and put machines right here. Pinball goes right here. Is going to go in that slot. We're going to slant our line because Same is pointing back to machines, so same's going to go right here. And then essentially, all the. I know, it should start to be coming back to you a little bit. Let's do the third one down. We're going to keep the video games one for special for a second. So, our subject here is the name of the food brand. It's going to be Glory Foods. Remember, when you have a proper noun, which is Glory Foods, is it's the name brand, you keep it together. So this is a proper noun. Then we have our predicate. I'm going to double underline that. We have has come is going to be our verb, and then the rest of it is our predicate. Let's try to diagram this. From is a preposition, so we're going to cross out a prepositional phrase for a second. So we have has come is the verb. Our subject is Glory Foods. Way is going to be a noun, so that's going to be our direct object. Remember, a noun for a direct object has to be a noun. And we don't have a linking verb. Has come is has is a helping verb. Come is just a regular action verb. So we have our helping verb and we have our action. So we do not have a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. So when you diagram this, it's going to be Glory Foods has come, and then way, a long goes under it. Fantastic. You guys are the smartest people alive. So, from there, hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. You're going to be laughing at what I'm doing, and I got to do this at the same time. I'm adding a little bit of water to my boiling pot. It happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the next one. We are going to go ahead and do the last sentence at the bottom. He refined his skills at the prestigious, acclaimed Culinary Institute of America. So we have our subject. It's going to be he. And then our predicate is where our verb starts. So refined is our verb, so this is going to be the predicate. Let's see if we can diagram this. At is a preposition. We're going to cross that out. We're not going to deal with that yet. Super easy sentence. He is our subject, refined, and then skills is going to be our direct object. It's a noun. And then his. Beautiful. See how colorful it looks too? It looks awesome. All right, some tricks to the trade. I'm not going to do the last sentence here. We're going to leave that for class. You need to establish whether or not you have a noun. First of all, is there a subject in the first place? You should have a noun receiving an action. All right? Then, is there a verb? If one is missing, not a sentence. Remember also, PAs is a predicate adjective. It's describing the noun. And we'll go over this more in class. PN, predicate nominative. It's a noun describing the subject. And then a direct object, which is a noun receiving the action. This is our first one. It's going to be a little bit short, but you guys totally are nailing this. And I'm really excited to be able to both teach my students and Mrs. Stewart's students a little bit about independent clauses. They need a subject and a verb, and how to do a little bit of diagramming. You guys are rock stars. Have a great Friday.